Now let's make this a little bit more complex by adding another keyword, else, which we see right here on line 11. Before, the code just checked to see if it was raining and recommended a raincoat and rain boots if it was. Let's now say that if it's not raining, we want to recommend a t-shirt and shorts. How do we do that? To do that, we add that else block. That's lines of code 11 through 13 here. Under the else block, we place the lines of code to print t-shirt and shorts. When this code runs, we again create the variable today's weather, and right now we're still giving it the value cold. When line 6 runs, it checks to see if today's weather equals raining, finds that it doesn't, and so the lines of code controlled by that if statement do not run. It skips over lines 7 and 8. Note what the next line of code says though. The line of code on line 11 says else. We can probably tell just by the meaning of the word else that else basically says, if that was true, do something, else do something else. Thus the phrase, do something else. This else will always correspond to the immediately preceding if statement at the same level of indentation. And the else block basically says, if the previous if didn't run, then do this. So here, that previous if didn't run, and so this else will run. It executes line 12 and 13, and as a result, prints t-shirt and shorts. Then once again, line 14 isn't indented under anything, and so it runs either way. So an else block like this only runs if the if statement that preceded it didn't run or was false. Today's weather equals raining was false, so this didn't run, and so the else statement did run. Check out what happens though if we change today's weather back to raining. Once again, line 6 checks to see if today's weather equals raining. This time it does, and so raincoat and rain boots are printed to our output. That means that lines 7 and 8 did in fact run. When we get down to line 11 though, this else means to only run its code block if that if statement didn't run. But as we saw, that if statement did run, and so the else block does not run. Done still prints, because it's not indented under anything, and now our program is done. This if-else structure guarantees that either the if block or the else block will run. There is no value that we could put in for today's weather that would not print either raincoat and rain boots or t-shirt and shorts. One of these two blocks of code is guaranteed to run, unless our code crashes for some reason. Note once again the syntax for that else block. It starts with the keyword else, bold and in red because it's a reserved word, and it ends with a colon. Again, a colon is how we tell Python that an indented block of code is about to come. If we don't conclude this line of code with a colon, or if we don't indent at least one line of code immediately following it, then Python will give us an error.